Hello students, let's have a look on one of the basic and the easiest scheduling algorithm, that is first come first serve, or we say FCFS scheduling algorithm. So it is one of the easiest and the simplest scheduling algorithm. What happens in this FCFS is the process which requests the CPU first is going to get the CPU first. So whoever comes first will be served first. Or you can take an example like people waiting in a queue at a bank counter. So whoever is coming first will be served first at the counter. So that is how the FCFS scheduling algorithm works. We are going to see sums on that, and later we can see how it can be implemented. Let's see at this problem. It is one of the very simplest problem that we can understand for FCFS scheduling. So here there are three processes, P1, P2, P3, and the arrival timing of the process is 035, burst time is 216. So from this table, what do I understand? That the process had arrived in the ready queue at this timings 035. It could be 0 second, millisecond, it can be any unit, or 0 minute, 3 minute. And burst time is, it is the time that it is going to require to execute on CPU. It is going to take this much time for execution on CPU. So P1 is going to take 2, P2 is going to take 1, P3 is going to take 6. So this is the data that is given to me with the process ID and the arrival time and the burst time. Now I need to apply a FCFS scheduling algorithm to this. So this is a solution which I am going to do, is I am going to make columns where I am going to have process ID, arrival time, and that is I am writing AT. You just can complete the writing over here. BT, that is actually the burst time. CT I have written as completion time. TAT is the turnaround time. So I have also written the formula over here, that is completion time minus arrival time. Completion time minus arrival time, and then the waiting time, that is equal to turnaround time minus burst time. So turnaround time minus burst time. So this is how I just get ready up for my solution or for the solving purpose. Then I have written the process IDs, the arrival time and the burst time given to me in the question. Okay, now I have to write the completion time. So for that purpose I will have to draw a Gantt chart for that. It is a kind of bar chart which is just going to show you the schedule, like what is the first timing, what is the arrival timing, or you can say whatever the ending timing is there. For that purpose we are making a Gantt chart. So I just start making a Gantt chart for the same. Okay, so at arrival at point 0, P1 had arrived. So say at 0 second the P1 process had arrived. Now it is going to take 2 units of time for execution purpose on CPU. So it is taking 2 units for execution purpose, and P1 has completed the execution. So I am going to just go on writing the timings also. This will help me to know that which process has started execution at what time, ended execution at what time. That's the reason I'm writing these numbers below. Okay, so here the completion time for the process 1 is 2 because it has got completed its execution at 2. Now what happens? Process 2 is arriving at 3. So I am having no other process in my system. So this 2 to 3, between 2 to 3, my CPU is going to remain idle. There will be no process under execution in this time. So at 3 the P2 is arriving, okay, and it is going to take execution of 1 unit or 1 second, you can say. So it is going to take 1 unit or 1 second for the execution, and it is completing its execution at 4 seconds, say example. Okay, so P2 is completed with execution at 4 seconds. So it is done. At 5 the P3 is coming. So I am at the moment 4, but I don't have any process in my CPU for execution purpose. इसलिए this part is going to denote that the CPU is idle now. There is no process executing. So at 5 the P3 is coming. So when the 5 P3 is coming, it is going to take the burst time of 6 and get executed. So it is 5 plus 6 till 11. P3 is going to get executed. So how do I feel the completion time over here? See the process. P1 gets completed at 2, P2 gets completed at 4, P3 gets completed at 11. So that is what I have written, 2, 4, 11. When we talk about turnaround time, it is at the time the completion was done minus at what time the process arrived. Okay, so 2 minus 0, 2, 4 minus 3, 1, 11 minus 5, 6. So that is how I calculate. Okay, but let's see over here. So turnaround time is the time taken by the process to be in the system. So here, as you can see, that for how much time process P3 was there in the system, it was just for 6 seconds. Yes, how much time P2 was there? For 1 second. And how much time P1 was there in the system? 2 seconds. So it is 2 seconds. And waiting time, when I calculate waiting time, it is stat minus BT, turnaround time minus the burst time. So 2 minus 2, 0, 1 minus 1, 0, 6 minus 6, 0. As you can see, no process has to wait. In fact, the CPU was left idle. So this is how I calculate the TAT and the WT, and then I total the turnaround time and the waiting time. And whenever if I am asked to find the average turnaround time or average waiting time, I can just calculate it. Here it's total 9 and 3 processes are there. So 9 divided by 3, that is 3 units, seconds, millisecond, nanosecond, whatever. And here it is 0, 0 divided by 3, that is going to be 0 unit. So this is how a problem can be solved applying FCFS scheduling algorithm. There's another problem up, say it's a problem with 5 processes with their arrival timings and the burst timings. So if I look at the solution of this, again I draw the same table, same number of columns I do, and I just fill up the table. But what is important is you need to know how the completion time is going to be calculated and how the Gantt chart is actually drawn. Okay, so at arrival time 0, process P1 is there, it is given the CPU and it is going to execute for 2 seconds. It is going to execute for 2 seconds and it is done with the execution. Okay. Then at arrival time 3, I am getting process P2. So there is no process till 3 because P1 has completed the execution. So this is the time when the CPU is going to remain idle. At 3, process P2 comes and execute for 4 seconds. So at 3, P2 comes and executes for 4 seconds. So 3 plus 4, it is going to be 7. So what happened? At 4 seconds, P3 also came. So 4 would be somewhere here in between. So at 4th time, P3 has already came. It is going to execute, but it is going to get the CPU at 7 only. So it is going to execute for 3 seconds. Then P4 and P5 both have came at 5 second timing only, and they are going to execute for 1 and 3. So 10 plus 1, 11. P4 is going to execute, and then 11 से 3 seconds के लिए P5 is going to be executed, which is going to end at 14 seconds. So what is the completion timing? See this, P1 gets completed at 2, P2 gets completed at 7, P3 gets completed at 10, P4 at 11, and P5 at 14. So that is what the completion time column would be. And TAT, we can just apply the formula and write it. But let's understand the TAT, right? TAT was what? The time this process is going to stay within the system. So say for example, I take P3 and I look here, P3. Okay, P3 arrived at what timing? It arrived at 4 seconds. So it arrived at 4 seconds here. And at what time it got completed and left the system? 10. So 4 minus 10. Actually 10 minus 4. That is 6. So the total timing P3 stayed in the system was 6. That is what is 6. If I talk about P5, P5 came at 5 only. At say 5 seconds would be somewhere here. So 5 say it completed till 14. So 14 minus 5, 9. So it stayed in the system for 9 seconds. So that is what is actually the meaning of turnaround time. And when I say waiting time, it means how much time the process is going to wait. So P1 0 time, P2 also didn't had to wait. So it is also again 0. When I talk about, say, let's see P5, how much time it had to wait? Because it came at 5, it got the CPU at 11, so 11 minus 5, 6, so it is going to be 6. So this is just how we can see the Gantt chart and come to know, and this is just by the formula how we can do the computation. So after completing, we can total up the TAT and the waiting time, and then we can find the average turnaround time and average waiting time. So this is how the problems can be solved. Now we can look on how it is going to be implemented. I have opened the Python IDLE. So already I have saved my program. So I'm just going to open the file. So as we have to implement the first come first serve, so we are going to implement in the same way we had seen the sum and how the columns were made. So let's start. I need to have a variable top. I'm initializing to 0. This is average turnaround time and this is average waiting time. This is the arrival time list. This is the burst time list. Now what I need to take from the user is what are the number of process. How many process are there? It may be 3, 5 as we had seen in the previous sum. First sum had 3 process and the next had 5. So this is how I take the input n, that is the number of process. For all the process I am going to iterate and going to take the arrival timing and the burst timing for the same. Okay, so here P%D is just for the formatting purpose so that I can get P1, P2, P3, P4 that way. So I have written the appropriate coding for that, and I am going to iterate for all the number of process. I am going to take the arrival timing and the burst timing. I take a list of completion time, turnaround time and waiting time. What next is what is the next in the implementation part is how do we actually calculate the completion time ka table. So whenever I start, it is for all the process I have to repeat the same, so a loop will be coming. So whenever the I is 0, the top value is 0 plus whatever the burst time of 0, that is a process 1 would be there, that would be calculated and appended to the completion time. So I would get the completion time of my first process. Now I is always going to be greater than 0 whenever I will be starting from 1. So till 1, from 1 to the number of process that I am going to have, I am going to do this part. So what happens in this section is we are going to calculate the completion time 1 by 1. So I just get a print statement that completion time has been calculated. So once the completion time has been calculated, it is very much easy to calculate the turnaround time and the waiting time. So as you can see here, I have taken the variables. So the completion time minus arrival time, that is actually going to be the turnaround time, and turnaround time minus burst time is going to give me the waiting time. So that is the reason I am writing the statements for computation of turnaround time and waiting time, and then I print that the turnaround time and the waiting time has been calculated. Now this is a formatting that I do for my table structure. So I have the column process ID, whatever column we had for the table, same columns I am writing here. So process ID, arrival time, burst time, completion time, turnaround time and the waiting time. Okay, so I am just writing it in the formatting whatever I require. So this arrival time is going to be str I plus 1, burst time is, so it's for the process ID str I plus 1. So accordingly it will going to go on incrementing P1, P2, P3, P4, and burst time I have written it. Arrival timing is AT of I, burst time is BT of I, completion time is STR of CT of I. So that way I have written. And when I want to calculate the average turnaround time and average waiting time, so I have to do the sum. So upon each iteration it is going to add up to the sum, and then I divide by n, that is whatever the number of process are there. So I get actually my average turnaround time and average waiting time, and then I write a print statement for printing those timing. So this is how the FCFS can be implemented. So your major idea over here is just initializing all the list, taking the number of process and iterating to take the arrival timing and the burst timing, writing the proper part for calculating the completion time, and when once the completion time is done, writing the part of code for calculating the turnaround time and waiting time, just implementing those two formulas, and then for the printing part of the sum, I'm going to write some statements, and thereby I'm going to calculate the average TAT and average waiting time. Now let's run the code. So it is asking me for the number of process. I enter say 3. I am referring to whatever problem 1 I had discussed earlier, and entering all the data. It's asking for arrival time, so I write 0, and then burst time 2, then it was 3 for process 1, 5 for process 3, and burst time was 6. So the data is taken from the sum which was solved earlier. So as you can see over here, the timings are calculated, completion time calculated, turnaround time calculated, waiting time calculated. Whatever table we had seen while solving the sum, same table has been made by our code, and I have got the average turnaround time and the average waiting time. Just here, because of the formatting, it is looking like this, so you can format it properly. So this is how you can implement the first come first service. Hope you would have understood, and if you would have understood, please like the video, keep supporting, share with your friends, and do have a implementation or the practice for the same. Thank you all.